Hi, I'm Pastor Bob Gierke.
I'm Pastor Dan Bodine.
We are looking forward to having you join us once again to worship at South Shore Trinity when you feel comfortable doing so. Thanks to Governor Walz, we are now able to legally worship together in our sanctuary up to 25% of our seating capacity. That means we can have up to 80 people in our worship service since we have a seating capacity of 340. Remember, we are following our summer schedule. That means we continue to have worship on Saturday nights at 5:30, Sunday mornings at 8 o'clock, and since we don't have a Sunday school Christian education hour, we will have our worship service at 9:45 on Sunday. Yes, 9:45 on Sundays.
As we continue to try to get back to normal, we'll also be continuing with our outdoor worship services like we do every summer, those being on the second and fourth Sundays of the month, starting on June 14th at 9:45 a.m. And for that, we ask you to bring your own chair or your own blanket, and then to also maintain that 6-foot distance between family units. You don't have to be 6 feet from your family unless you really want to be, but we do ask that you just try to observe that 6-foot distance between family units. And the nice thing with the outdoor worship service is that we can have up to 250 people as long as we're socially distancing.
We know that there are many reasons that you may not be ready to come and worship yet. And we totally respect that, which is why we will continue to live stream and provide our services for you each weekend as well. We are ready to have you come whenever you are ready to help us to grow in our faith, as we pray that you will be able to grow in your faith, because we want to be equipped to go from here and share that love of Jesus Christ with people who are already believers in Jesus and with those who are yet to believe in Jesus. Jesus has called us to be his witnesses in our words and in our actions, and we pray that God will bless each and every one of us, that we will be able to continue to do that no matter where we are.
And so Pastor Bob and I are making this video for you guys so you are aware of what's going to be different, what's going to be the same, and how different ways you can be prepared to come back for worship. One of the big things right now is that we've removed the hymnals and the Bibles from the sanctuary, so you might want to pack a bag before you come. This is the backpack I packed. And in here, I brought along my Bible in case you need a Bible for when you worship. And also, if you have small kids like I do, you might want to bring along some toys for them so that they are entertained in the worship service, as well as maybe some paper or activity book or pencils, all of that kind of good stuff for them. We have removed the little kid bags that we normally have available, and so you want to make sure that everything that you need, you bring with you from home.
Sounds good. And also, if you have a personal device that you'd like to download our worship service on, the bulletin, feel free to do so from our website. We will also have paper bulletins available as we have in the past that you can receive from an usher. We also will have the service projected on the screens as well as the televisions as we have in the past. We also encourage you to go to the restroom before you come. We are going to have our restrooms available. The doorstop will be open so that you don't have to touch the door or surfaces more than you are required to do so and need to. We are trying to do the best that we can to try to minimize the amount of objects that we do need to sanitize after the services. Also, if you bring along a coat or a jacket, we would really encourage you to bring that with you to the pew, and we'll explain that a little bit more as we go into the sanctuary. We are at the west entrance because this is where we want you to enter so everyone can come in the same place. Pastor Dan and or I will be here greeting you as you enter as well. Hopefully we'll have others here to help with opening the door. So that way the doors will be open and you won't even have to touch anything as you enter and prepare to go into the sanctuary. The state of Minnesota guidelines do recommend that everyone wears a mask. It's strongly encouraged, so we encourage you to do that and put it on before you come in here. It is not a requirement according to the guidelines, and that's why we do not require it. We strongly encourage it, and obviously it's for many different reasons.
And when you do come in, you will be asked to go straight past the office to the back of the sanctuary. If you want to stop on your way, we have some new hand sanitizer dispensers right by the fire extinguisher as you come to the double door. And so you can grab some hand sanitizer on the way, but you'll walk all the way through the office to the back of the sanctuary, maintaining that social distancing until you find an usher, and they will take you from there.
We're in the narthex. This is at the rear of the sanctuary, which is where we want you to meet an usher. An usher will take you down the center aisle or down the side aisle to your seat, because we want to maximize the number of worshipers that can be in our sanctuary, yet maintaining that 6-foot physical distancing from one another.
At the end of the worship service, then the ushers will release you by pew starting from the front, and you will then exit out the side door by the elevator to again use that west entrance to exit the building. The guidelines do recommend that we exit the building right away, and so if you want to stop and talk to people, we'd ask that you do that outdoors in the parking lot while maintaining that social distancing.
When you get to this point in the sanctuary, you will have passed the box for your offering.
Also, you'll notice that there's going to be a camera right here. This is the camera we've been using to do our live stream worship service. We are currently using the camera to talk to you guys, so you can't actually see it in its spot, but you will see the camera right here as it's pointed forward at the front of this church. And so you'll also see people sitting in this booth doing that video ministry.
So you may have some questions about Holy Communion. After the words of institution, Pastor Dan and I will go into the sacristy and wash our hands during the singing of the Agnus Dei. During that time, we will also apply the mask to our face, and then we will come out. I will have the bread here, and I will place that into your open hand. Pastor Dan will be over there.
So I'm going to be here on this end or on the other end. We'll do one side of the church at a time. The ushers will usher you up individually per row, and then I'll be here. I'll hand you the cup. We're only doing individual cup, and there will be a basket right there for you to drop it in right away, and then you can go return to your seat. If for any reason Pastor Bob or I make contact with somebody during this process, we will take out the hand sanitizer we have with us to apply between people.
According to the guidelines, singing is a higher risk activity as it more forcefully expels respiratory droplets than speaking. And the act of singing may contribute to transmission of COVID-19, possibly through emission of aerosols. Congregations should refrain from singing. And because of that, we are reducing the amount of singing significantly. During our service, we will be speaking several stanzas and singing a verse or two. We hope that that will be a blessing. So if you feel like singing out loud, we pray that you'll have your mask on. And if you don't want to have your mask on, it's probably a better idea for you just to hum along with us.
And then between services, we also want to let you know that we'll be wiping down the surfaces of the pews between services. We hope that many of you will be able to stick around and help us with that. And if you could let us know that you're planning to do so, that would be very helpful. But we plan to wipe down all the pews between services as another way to maintain cleanliness.
As well as the restrooms, a variety of other places of high touch. One other important thing for us to share with you as a pre-check before you come to worship according to the state guidelines. Do a self-check and stay home if you have any of these symptoms of COVID-19. The symptoms can include fever, cough, shortness of breath, chills, headache, muscle pain, sore throat, or loss of taste or smell. Other less common symptoms include gastrointestinal symptoms like nausea, vomiting, or diarrhea. We truly want your worship experience and the worship experience of everyone else to be as healthy as we possibly can. So if Pastor Dan or I have these symptoms, we too will be staying home.
And this is it for the video. I hope you found this informational video answered the questions you might have. If you still do have any questions, please reach out to Pastor Bob, myself, Sally in the office, maybe your elder, and hopefully we can answer any questions as you prepare to return to worship in either the coming week or weeks ahead. Thanks, and God bless.